Colette. Thank you so much for being here today. You have a new book out. We're going to be talking about your one word today. And what is your word?
My word is becoming. So when I say that word becoming, that's actually the center of every single thing that I teach. That in order for us to co-create a reality for ourselves or experience life in a certain way, we have to become the person that is capable of that. So people tend to think that everything is outside of them, but we have to evolve in order to meet the universe where we want it to be. It's a dialogue back and forth. So becoming is centrifugal to my entire world, my entire lexicon. That's the number one word, not just for a year, but always.
Yes. Well, and I love this too. So let's give our listeners some backstory here. So I think we worked together it was probably 2013, 2014.
Yes, you got yes. So
Yes.
when we came, that's when you first started calling it the dig.
Yeah. Like
Honestly,
literally, you might have been my first, like,
right. Yeah.
client.
I don't even know how that all happened too, like how I got to you or whatever. But I thought you were brilliant. And just to give people some backstory, so I went to Erin for help. I got you from Sam Horn. I'm pretty sure it was Sam Horn,
Okay.
right? So yeah. So anyhow, I had gone on the Dr. Phil show. And we it was a show about mediums, and he had some I don't know, some skeptical there. It was just very strange, the whole experience. I've been on Dr. Phil twice, and I think it was after the second time where I got so lambasted by like Christian hardcore Christians, and I have nothing against Christianity. I'm all about God, but it was really frightening. And then a couple people threatened to kill me.
Ooh.
So I was like, I'm not doing this mediumship crap anymore. I'm not doing any more woo woo. I have a background in Jung. I can totally apply everything that I do in a much more practical, non woo woo way. And my dog wants to come up. And so I needed help. I needed help to understand how to change all the language. And I had already launched a school in 2012 called the Master Intuitive Coach Institute, which we ended up calling Envision Lab, which was this like, I tried to completely change who I was. So when we first got together, you have such a great process. I hope people come and work with you after they hear this podcast because you're brilliant.
Oh,
So that
thank you.
coming down to that one word, my word was perspective. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
But go ahead.
I remember you being very skittish, and I don't remember the whole thing about the Dr. Phil, but I do know a bit about that kind of experience, like having been on TV a lot in my previous world when I ran Girls Fight Back, and it is scary, and it does throw a leader into like it's almost like a nervous system shock when you get
Oh,
like the trolls and the haters it's just like, am I safe here? Like,
well, I wasn't. And
yeah.
it reminded me, I was so frightened because I had had some violence in my early 20s, and I didn't recognize how it like kind of rang the trauma bells. And
Mm.
then I had gone back into that. It took me quite a long time until I found EMDR to kind of like, anyhow. So I went back into the body of an old story where I was not safe and I almost died. Right. So, and my response to that was to act like a possum. Right. So what happened was with you, when I got to the word perspective, just because after that, what I was hoping to be was someone else, right? I
Yeah.
wanted to be somebody else.
Hmm.
And what happened quite rapidly after I had made a decision to completely take out all the woo and all the when I say woo, I'm going to say the spiritual piece, the more alternative spirituality, because it wasn't acceptable to traditional religious folk, right?
Hmm.
Because the whole new age thing, I think, whatever. So I just was like, I can't do this. And then I did have some great clients, but the craziest thing was I ended up speaking after I saw you at the gosh, what was it called? The Downtown Project in Las Vegas. Tony Shea, who died actually,
Yeah.
uh, but he had this really extraordinary, interesting think tank. And so I met people from Mashable, from Google, from all these like really big companies. And I did my little talk, and everybody came up to me, but they didn't care about my talk, about how smart they wanted me to read them.
Yeah.
Telling me, oh, you did that. Because part of my story was that I had been a medium and an intuitive for so many years. And then I got, I realized that I had to find a way how to bridge this to more of a mainstream conversation. And they didn't care about the mainstream conversation. They all wanted to hire me to do what I am. So the word perspective was I found that neutral spot where my perspective showed me that I was completely acting out of fear, and every choice that I was making was to construct false safety around myself, because the less integral you are and truthful you are about you become inauthentic, then you don't have any power there at all, right? So it was a really fascinating thing what you did for me, coming there, and why the word has changed so dramatically. Although perspective is a word that I think is a good word, because it's like I help people get perspective on themselves, etc. But what I learned was that and what I teach also, even in the process of manifesting, is that everything is about co-creating reality for me. Everything that I teach, everything I think about is like, well, how do we navigate this world, and how do we have agency? Where is our choice points? Where can we create the world that we want for ourselves? Because you got to start small, right? You have to start with your own tiny world, your own tiny universe. And so each one of us has a unique path to be on. And so when I finally surrendered to the fact that this is who I am, this is what I am, and I'm going to have to trust that Spirit's going to protect me. And if that was true, that other thing would have happened, that would be my path. Like there was nothing I could do. And once I did that and I surrendered to that, I realized that I had to become the person who could live and trust and believe that I was safe, that as long as I continued to ask for what is my next right action, I would evolve and grow and become the person that I could be proud of, that could live the life. Because I had already done that. I got sober 40 years ago. Like I'll be 40 years sober soon.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I know.
Amazing.
I never thought I would ever be 40, never mind.
Yeah.
So, and when I began that journey, that transformation journey, I had to become a different person.
Yeah.
Right. Becoming was key. I had to change. I had to discover what was it that kept me tethered to an addiction, to try to escape my pain, to try to be someone else, when really I had to learn a path inward to find out who I really was, what these gifts really were, and to be rigorously honest about my behavior, my thinking, my belief systems, and really pick them apart and start to look at them. And your word perspective, or the one that I found with you, was really the door opener. Because once I actually claimed that word.
Yeah. Well, you have to see anything, right? Before you can choose to become it. I mean, so let's give a little backstory on you. So you identify as a medium.
Yeah, I identify as an intuitive. I'm in the personal transformation field. So I would say that I'm a personal transformation coach, counselor. I'm an intuitive. So I'll say I'm an intuitive. I do so many things. And I'm also an artist. I sell my paintings. I mean, I'm a multi-hyphenate is what I am.
Yeah. All the things. I love this.
I'm a lot of things, right? So I wouldn't say I'm any particular word, but I am a teacher. So I would say I'm a metaphysical educator. And yeah, so my intuition, mediumship, I do some of that for sure, but I don't play on one word. One word doesn't describe what I do. But I help people become. I'm really the midwife to people's becomings. Yeah, is really what it is.
Well, I think there's also a lot of permission too. When you've had such a kind of a radical identity that it can be very polarizing to people, you've had to step into this more and more and more and own it, and be now a thought leader and a very successful author and speaker around that.
And I am. And I will say that I am, not to blow my own horn. And I never wanted to. Like, that's the other thing. The first 6 years that I did readings professionally while I was trying to pursue a career in music. So that was so funny, because I kept also praying, like, thy will be done through me. Show me what you want me to do. P.S. I want a record deal. And I know it's going to be through music. I just know it. And then all my career as an intuitive, I never even gave out a business card. And you got to remember, when I started, when I started, been doing this intuitive work for 36 years. There wasn't even any internet. There wasn't even any cell phones when I became known. People gave my phone number out in dinner tables, in airports, in conversation with somebody. And by the time I had been doing readings for 6 years, I had read somebody, at least one person, on the phone over 29 countries.
Wow.
That all the things that I wanted, the dignity, the self-respect, knowing that I had purpose, knowing that I could help people, that all came from my work as an intuitive. Then as a teacher, I'm an avid student. I'm a nerd. I studied quantum physics. I did a whole thing on Jungian psychology. I wanted to know how people tick. Because I could see all these things. I got into coaching. I have a coaching institute now. I certify coaches, intuitive coaches. So, I've been, again, 36 years. I should have accomplished a few things, but I never did. And it's really funny. I really, really pursued. I had a lot of ambition to become a singer-songwriter, but I didn't really have much ambition to do this. Even today, my team has to beg me to go on social media because I like it so much. But I recognize that, like, mediumship for me, by the way, talking to dead people, that feels like I get to do that.
Yeah.
And I don't do it all the time.
Cool.
I do it twice a month in my membership. I do readings because it keeps me, but that's how I get to give back. I have a television show called Messages from Spirit, like my second book. And I did like 300 readings in like in less than a month, like in 10 shooting days. And that was the most incredible experience in my life because I was so tired all the time that my tight hold on me and what it looked like to me just went away because I was so fried. But it was so extraordinary. Nobody can tell me that isn't real. Nobody. Like, I know what's real. So yeah. So
can I ask you just some spiritual questions?
Yes, please.
I mean, I have just lost an incredible amount of people in my life. I mean, I'm 48, so I'm not that old to be having lost as many people. And like, I've almost developed this new relationship with people who have passed on. Like, I almost don't think of them as like dead. I think of them as just like not physically here, but also like not in this heaven thing.
No, I get it. That's exactly how I am.
Yeah.
Because there is no heaven thing. Like, not that I know of. Nobody's come to tell me that. So I don't want to, burst anybody's bubble. Maybe there is one, but no one's ever said that. But there is a different dimension of consciousness. And I believe that we can heal past relationships. I have developed such a great relationship with my parents because they both died in my early 30s. And I was a horrible daughter. I mean, ugh. So I really had to make up for a lot of lost time. So yeah, like the interesting thing is that I don't hear them and experience them that I do with strangers, people, but I sense them and I know that they're really proud of me, but I've also made amends and I've recognized my part in things. And so I've been able to rewrite these relationships and keep them going. Like, I'm in very active, respectful relationship to my parents. Very much so. And the sadness, though, I mean, there is loss, and loss is really hard because we believe that we are separate. And a lot of people actually believe that when we're done, we're done. My husband's parents became Jehovah's Witnesses. And when he was 14 and took Christmas away, that was horrifying for him.
Traumatizing.
Like, oh, Father Christmas.
Yeah.
So, and they loved me. I loved that. Like, they loved them. His dad died, but they used to watch my TV show, even though they didn't believe it, that, like, they were amazed because in the Witnesses, they believe that that's it. You get to come, 144 of them get to come up after, when everybody rises up later, but you're gone. So they were like fascinated by the fact that I was, and people were like, yeah, my grandfather, right? Anyway, there's belief systems that it ends. Like, so people have all these ideas, but like what you said, they're not dead. They're just different. They're just different. And we can love them and feel their love. But what they are not, I will tell you what they are not. Like, my experience as a medium is that people have come through oftentimes to help set free the person left behind from whatever struggles that they've had, or self-blame or whatever, or they might apologize to them. I always laugh and say I'm the apology medium. I'll get the dead alcoholics too, because of me. So, I
Addict
could
to
get
addict.
yeah. But Defending Your Life is a great movie to watch. I don't know if you've seen that with Albert Brooks. You got to
I
watch
have
it
not. No.
with Meryl Streep. You should watch that, because I think it must be a little like that, where we see our life, and but we're no longer a hostage to it.
Yeah.
We can change, and we are free from all of that. And until we again move, who knows, maybe there is a heaven that we move to the next level. I really don't know. And I don't like to tell people that I know things when I don't know, but they'll see me do all this mediumship from stage and go like, wow. And I went, yeah, I have no clue. Like everybody wants to say they know what it is. Do it. And I don't know what it is. But I know it's real. And I know that we don't die. We do not die. And we love. All we do is love when we're on there. We don't hate. We are so remorseful, like if we've hurt somebody, but ultimately there is a liberation from our story that is profound.
That's beautiful. So you have a book that just recently came out.
Yes,
you have a bunch of books. You have Oracle decks. You have all the things. But tell us about this one.
This is I think this is a culmination of my whole world, because I am an artist, and this my painting behind me is based on the kind of stuff that I'm doing called frequency art. But I sell my paintings, whatever. So I'll tell you what happened. So I've always taught manifesting. And I think the reason being is when I got sober 40 years ago, simultaneously, I started going to Unity Church at the same time. So I was immersed in new thought concepts from the get-go. And so I learned all about treasure maps, which became vision boards. And so I got right into all the different teachings of the church that was about co-creating reality and seeing the Bible through the allegory, the concept of allegory. It was the coolest church. I loved the singing. They played guitar. And I just really loved everything I was learning about reality creation. So it always, that's actually when I started really getting into doing readings, where I started questioning, going like, I am seeing this is how this is going to play out, but what if you could choose something different? Wouldn't you want to do that? Like, what if you could do something better than this? And that's how I eventually got into coaching. But ultimately, I kept asking myself, well, who would I need to become? I know I want all these things, but I can't have those things today. Those aren't me. I have to be different. So I learned that there was a correlation between, but I'd always done these artsy projects because that's what they taught at Unity Church. They taught the collage method of vision boarding, which they call treasure map, which is like purposeful prayers, right? Or intentional prayer. So now I painted on people's clothes early on in my recovery from addiction. Before I got into doing readings, or kind of around the same time, I made a living for a couple of years painting, like doing art on people's clothing. And I was good at it, and people paid me a lot of money for it back then. And then one day I just stopped, just because I stopped. So during the pandemic, I've always suffered from anxiety and the skittishness that you picked up before. But the pandemic showing up every day, I got every day 11:11, I'd get on the thing. So I started having anxiety again. And so I decided to take a painting class with a friend. And immediately I started in the class, and then I didn't finish the class because I went off on a tangent, because I started connecting with all these beings. And I painted 44 ginormous paintings with these faces on it and stuff, which actually became my latest Oracle deck, called Guides of the Hidden Realms, which is this. I have 19 decks, by the way. This is my last one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're all on here because Hay House saw that some of them went like, this should be a deck. And I'm like, oh, okay. Anyhow, so I broke my foot. And so I couldn't stand in front of a canvas. And I'm like, what am I going to do? And I always liked line art. So I went online and I saw all these like really cool different types of line art, like Zentangle and Zendoodle, Neurodoodle. And I went down the rabbit hole because I am a rabbit hole kind of person when it comes to science. And I learned about something called the neuroarts. I had been really interested in a particular artist named Greg A. Dunn, who was a neuroscientist, and he painted these beautiful, beautiful fine art pieces like neurons. And so I was seeing some people were doing it, and the neuroarts is an umbrella term for the study and the multidisciplinary study of how all art forms impact brain plasticity, right? So I was all into that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I ran across and I joined this girl's, actually Anna Denning, she was an art teacher, her membership, and she also taught a very heady Russian technique called neurographica, and I wasn't interested in it because it was so heady and so rule-based, and I'm a non-rule kind of person. So I developed my own thing, and I thought, I wonder if this could work. I wonder if using line art as a tool for manifestation, because we're missing something. Everybody still stays in their head. So what if this, since we know that brain plasticity can be shifted and can, like with actual art, why not create some kind of a process where that is added in? Right. Because I was always interested in it. And I taught a vision board challenge 2 years ago where I drew something called the zone of synchronicity, because I started saying, like, well, we keep saying that we're going to match with that thing, but we don't leave any space for how the universe is actually going to deliver it in its own way. We get very attached to form. And I think that's why this whole concept of manifestation has been so difficult, because people get stuck on the form.
Right.
So yeah, so then I taught all these people from Hay House, the staff and other authors and the COO and the publisher, and they were like, "You need a book on this. This is so great." So then I contacted Anna Denning and said, "Hey, do you want to do this with me?" And because we were both putting like energy to the paper, we both were doing it on our own without telling the other one. So it was so fun. I'm like, we need to teach people how to do this, because and it worked, and we tested it. So we have tested this. We have all the science behind it. We have all the citations. We're like, we need to show that this is real. We need to show that there is a correlation between our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs scientifically between us and the quantum field. And we need to be able to track it, even though we don't understand how that frequency is returned. We know it does, right? We have evidence that it does. So yeah, and the rest is history.
So this painting behind you, so this is a painting of a frequency. Can you explain it to me?
Yeah, this is so part of the art of manifesting that we talk about in the book. It's based on intention. So we activate intentional synchronicity. So this is a big painting of similar things that are small, right? And that are very easy to do. And you don't have to be an artist to do this at all. So the intention is the core piece, which is in the center there. So like that blob. So intention is something that when we rehearse a state of gratitude or state of being, in this case, we start out in gratitude in the book when we teach people how to really get stupefied in gratitude before you do a drawing. It's like get in awe and reverence and wow. And then you're open, because then all of a sudden you're open to install some new software in there, right? And the reticular activating system of your brain is going to start to look outside. So those lines represent me as the person broadcasting that to the universe. I am broadcasting like sonic, right? Like airwaves, like where is the music? When you turn on a radio, where is this music? You ever ask, where is this? Like, where is it? Where is it coming from? How come I hear it?
Great question.
Right? Where is this?
Yeah.
Well, we are the same. We are like radio transmitters. We broadcast. Now, when I say broadcast, we also broadcast a lot of junk. And the universe doesn't respond to that because it's so vast and varied or whatever. But it does respond to that which we consistently and constantly rehearse. So if we are rehearsing fear and we are rehearsing our anger, if we rehearse division, if we rehearse that, it's actually going to show us more, because the universe is neutral. It's going to respond in kind. So I like to think of the reticular activating system of the brain is our bouncer, right? So
Mhm.
it's given it a guest list. Well, my guest list only includes what I want, what I intend to experience, how I want to feel about that experience, and gratitude for this in advance, but completely surrender to the form of it, right?
Mm.
And so the double lines, because you'll notice if you looked at it closer, one line goes up and then it gets answered, because it's true. And actually, Lynn McTaggart, as you know, who's one of our TLC people,
Mhm.
has done extensive scientific research on how intention impacts a reality. I mean, we've seen it. So
Mhm.
in this case, what we're doing is saying, this is a state of being, but now I need to rehearse it, right? So that's the other thing. So instead of fighting against something or the storyline that we have that's, oh, everything is this and this is so bad and whatever, I'm going to go, okay, I'm going to respect that, but I'm going to come up with something else and I'm going to rehearse that. And eventually
Mm.
you have mirror neurons inside. Like, this is so basic, baby.
Yeah.
Like, this is nursery school science.
Mhm.
So it doesn't know the difference. When your body is into this, it's going to look for more evidence that that is real.
Mhm.
Oh, like, I'll give you an example. Okay, so this is not theory then. So I went to with a friend to a place for a coffee, and they had these homemade chocolates.
Mm.
And so the chocolate had, one of them had like red. I know I got three different kinds of these truffles, and one of them had red powder on it. Right now, I am allergic to cayenne pepper, like really badly allergic to cayenne pepper. So I didn't notice the red. I thought it was pink. As I put it into my mouth, literally just putting it into my mouth, my lips started to swell, my tongue started swelling, and I felt that allergic reaction to cayenne pepper. I
Mm.
was convinced this just went into my mouth. I need to spit it out. So I went to the person at the counter going, you should note, because that one said mint and you said this was something else. And she goes, well, that is something, it's red velvet cake, right? So she goes, that's not cayenne pepper, that's sugar, powdered sugar. But my body didn't know the difference because my mind said,
Oh, wow.
danger, Will Robinson. And I went into like a semi, like almost an anaphylaxis response. So think about that. So
Mm.
if you can't tell the difference between reality when you're rehearsing something, now they've done this too with people who are in recovery from accidents, like they imagine, in the imagination of moving your muscles and things like that, right? They've proven that it can actually help you. So the
Mm.
mind is a very powerful thing, and it's not separate from the universe. So that was the point. We're like, well, okay, we're made of the universe. Universe is in us. We're in it. Da, 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 da. It just looks like we're separate. What if we behaved as if this is the way it is?
Yeah.
And we proved it. We literally proved it.
Hmm. I love this idea of rehearsal. Like, we're met
Yeah.
with that. Question for you. So,
Yeah.
some might say that the world is kind of falling apart right now, depending on their perspective, right?
Yeah.
And definitely there's people, marginalized people who are impacted negatively by a lot of things. And,
Sure.
do you feel like there's a way to like be this a great manifester and create a new reality while also still acknowledging when things are just really hard or
1000%.
shitty?
1000%, because both and they can coexist. Like, no
Hmm.
matter what, because you may not have any power, like, especially when it comes to cultural concepts. I
Hmm.
will say, though, this, that if you are not used to, if you've not been impacted or influenced by or seen evidence um, that abundance is available to you, it's harder. It's harder. And that's why I look at people who are born in privilege. I think I remember during the whole thing when with George Floyd, prior to that, with everything about Black Lives Matter. I
Hmm.
remember somebody posting, did you really manifest that, or was that your white privilege? Well, in fact,
Mm.
people with white privilege who are really indoctrinated into, or people who have a lot of privilege or raised with a lot of money, expect to see certain things because they rehearse it. So yeah,
Mm.
you're right. Some of it could be white privilege. You're right. It's easier for some people. It doesn't mean that other people can't do it, because I have clients who are, people of color who have worked hard and will say, I had to work harder, but I got further than my white counterpart because I believed I could.
Mhm. It
So
sounds like that's another and, right? So there are
it's both
systems at
and,
play.
exactly. You can't, yeah, but I really wanted to name that because I think it's genuine. It's a genuine question.
Mhm.
And we have to admit right up to that it's not a level playing field.
Mhm.
Even though it's for everyone, it's harder for some people.
Yeah.
And our society has set that up too.
Mhm.
But that doesn't mean that person can't,
Right.
because because in fact, this does not depend on resources.
Mhm.
You are the resource. You discover that you have a resource that
Mhm.
is available to you. Now, I cannot speak to a person who's been marginalized in any way.
Mhm.
The fact that I was told I wasn't Canadian enough, but I'm white, so I get it. And being a psychic, being told that I was a spawn of the devil.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like scary, but
Mhm.
I know what it's like to walk. I'm a Canadian. It's just,
Mhm.
it's different here, right? So, but I do believe it's really important to acknowledge that you have to start where you are,
Mhm.
and then you have to break through those barriers and cultural conditioning, especially when it keeps getting reinforced. You have to say, okay, that's there, but this is also there.
Mm. Yeah.
This part of me, this part of me that is more powerful than a man-made idea. It is. You are more powerful than what someone says you're allowed to be or do.
Hmm. Absolutely. I was on a few different calls today, and one of the themes that I'm noticing just in the world right now is this just theme of reinvention.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people's doors are closing, relationships are ending,
Yep.
companies are shutting down or selling. And there was like this pervasive energy of people being like, what is and yet, like, do you feel like something new is coming in for humanity? I mean,
100%. And like this little book of mine is just one thing to add to your toolkit, right?
mm,
It's not the panacea. It's not going to solve cultural differences or whatever, but it's something that anybody can do no matter where you are in the world, no matter what your experience is. And it doesn't disrespect your trauma story. It doesn't do it. Like all of that can still be there, but
mhm,
this gives us a way out and brings back our agency. So I do think that, well, first of all, with AI, obviously there's some huge changes, but I think people are getting wise to the fact that most of the stuff that's happening and the way we've been manipulated to see the differences in each other instead of the same thing isn't benefiting us. It's benefiting somebody else.
yeah.
So I think we're coming to that point again. But regardless, it has to start here. I
Mhm.
can't make any changes in you or anyone else. I can only change myself.
Mhm.
I can't tell you what it's like for like, you know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think we learned that about, especially with the inequity, et cetera. Like, I'm not going to, I have to know if I want to contribute to society, the only way I can do that is by focusing on myself
Right.
and do the best I can, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
With everybody else, then I do see the changes coming.
Can you explain to me the direct relationship between manifesting and becoming?
Yes. So I believe the old way, like, here's the thing, everything has to evolve. So I believe that the whole manifestation conversation needed to evolve.
Mhm.
Because where I feel it got kind of stuck is I see something, I get that thing, right? So it's very much external.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting that, right? I want that. That is what I get. The goal is that it's always outside of me and it's always about up here. I'm going to think my way into it. I'm going to visualize. But I believe that in order to have the thing you say you want, especially if it's big,
Mhm.
you need to become a different person. Like
Mhm.
like otherwise you would have that, right?
Yeah.
Like you would have that experience. And the universe is going to answer you in yes, no, not yet, maybe, wait. Do you know what I mean? It's like, well,
Mhm.
here's
Yeah.
something like it. And the becoming piece is like, I really believe that as soon as we get on the manifestation track, we sign up for personal transformation
Mm.
because we have to learn how to be responsible for what we say we want. like we have to become the person. Like you can't become a famous guitarist if you don't practice every day.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to put the time in. You have to actually do something.
Yeah.
It's not just visualize it and get it.
Mm-hmm.
Like but you can claim something and know it, let it go, and it will come to you in the form that matches you, because we do not manifest what we want, we manifest what we are.
Mm.
What we believe about ourselves, what our thoughts, feelings, beliefs, ideas, behaviors, all of that. That is the match is to that. Otherwise, we lose it all. Perfect example is somebody who wins the lottery
Oh,
that isn't prepared
mm.
to. They don't know what to do with all the money, and they
Mm-hmm.
spend it all. It's gone because they didn't respect it. They didn't have a container for it. They didn't know what it meant. They were not the person. They had not become the person that could be respectful and responsible
Mm.
wealth. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
So it almost sounds like there's like two questions when somebody wants to manifest. Like there's first, what do you want? And then two, who do you need to become in order to have that?
yes. What do you want? Why do you want it? It's like, yes,
Mm.
and the subtext of
Mm.
what you want is, what's your motive? What are you hoping
Mm.
that's to give you? Because that's the thing.
Yeah.
That
Say more about that. Why is the why
so
important?
so say you want, like I'll use myself as an example, and I'm sure a lot of people identify. I wanted to have a record deal and become a well-known. I always wanted to succeed as a singer-songwriter. I wrote about pain. I don't like happy songs. I wrote about my pain. I wrote about things that people, because music changed my life and music touched me, and I wanted to do the same. I
Mhm.
wanted to share the story and whatever, and that's how I was. But the subtext of that was not sharing the art; it was redeeming myself.
Mm.
I never asked myself, why do I really want this? Because the doors kept slamming in my face, and I
Mm.
was being told I was too old, too fat, too this, too that. Like, and I eventually got the record deal when I didn't care about it anymore. When I was 40 years old, and they thought I was in my 20s because I look young. I'm 67, so
Mm.
it's like, like I do look young, and I know I do. My mom looked young too. It's just like it's genetic.
Yeah.
So, plus I'm really immature. But uh, but the point is that whole juice of that, I never asked myself, what do I really want? Because what I really wanted was to feel, yeah, but to feel self-respect and dignity and good. And I got all that from the business that I didn't even try.
Mm.
And I was really amazed and happy. But in this, right? So it was, I had an agenda that
Mm.
I needed to understand, right? I had
Yeah.
an agenda. So once I didn't care anymore and I had no more agenda, then it came to me because I got signed for a meditation CD that then eventually turned into a
Mm.
songwriter deal because they found out I could sing and write music. It was very trippy.
Huh.
So yeah, I came in the back door through a new age project, and then I got what I always wanted, but it didn't give
Wow.
me anything that I wanted. Nothing.
Mm.
I
Mm.
was miserable. I enjoyed knowing that I was talented. I worked with some of the best people, and it was pretty extraordinary. But the business itself was horrific, and I would have drank.
Mm.
So I had to get out of it. But this other one. So you're right. It's like, why do I want this? Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, why? Or is it, I just want to experience it? That's the best thing to do. Like, I give you an example. So I was sitting in the hot tub. Oh no. Okay. So the question is why? So in the book, we actually ask that question, drilling it down to that, like you do the dig. Let's dig down into why you want this.
Mm.
Because really, if you really want that, the universe might have a better idea of what would match that.
Mm.
That state of being that you want to rehearse, you're going to do that in advance. But the universe has a much better plan. If you could say, I want it to come from that, but what if it's supposed to come from somewhere else? I am walking proof of that. I
Mhm.
became the person. I became the teacher. At first I was the student. I'm always a student. But and I don't teach anything that I don't know. Like I don't teach anything I haven't experienced. And I'm always interested in evolving.
Yeah.
So music was something else. And now I just record for fun, and I'm working with the Corn Brothers on an EP.
Oh, cool. I've seen you on a bunch of stages at conferences and anywhere there's a tambourine lying around. This one's
Or guitar. I
it's
used to be a guitar. I don't anymore because I have arthritis. Yeah. So it's why do we want it? And then can we let it go? It's the attachment piece too. Like, are you willing to let it go? Because anytime you become too tightly attached to an outcome, it's going to run away from you.
Why is that?
Because attachment equals the broadcast of lack.
Ah,
I'm clinging to it. Therefore,
yeah.
I'm controlling it. And the universe is,
Mm,
we're going to give you more lack. They want to want. If you want to want something, if you can't let that go, the universe is just going to give you more reasons to want, because you don't get to have. You have to rehearse having.
yeah.
Well, if I have that, ooh, if I had that, how would I be? Who would I be if I have that? And you
Mhm.
get to play that.
Yeah. Have you gotten just a bunch of success stories from people who've read the
Yeah, we
book
have a
and
lot now. I mean, it's come out. We have a lot of really uncanny stories, like really fast, because things happen fast, and funny stories,
mm,
like really funny stories too. Like, I'll give you a fast one. So I was in my hot tub, and a lot of my friends have had New York Times bestsellers. As you know, we're authors. We love that idea, right? So I'm like,
yes.
I think I would like one. But
Mhm.
I never actually thought I would get one because I think I'm too weird. But whatever. I thought, like, why not? Right? Why not? But then I just let it go. But then I thought, I'm going to put it in my drawing, New York Times in my drawing. So then that morning I get out of the hot tub, I do that. And then I tell my head of my brand, guess what I'm doing? I put the New York Times in there. Isn't that cool? Ha ha ha. I'm admitting it. Wee. And then I was like, what? And we just laughed. 2 hours later, my publicist writes me a note. The New York Times would like to invite you to come when you're in New York City to come and talk to them about doing a talk about your book to their Healthy Times program.
Wow.
I didn't get a New York Times bestseller, but and I told them when I got there, I went, I manifested you.
Yeah.
But like, wow, the
Yeah.
match was not what I said I wanted, which was the bestseller. The match was how I could serve.
Mm,
And it's going to be announced, and I can invite all kinds of people to go to it. It's in February, and it's got nothing to do with being a bestseller. It has something to do with serving and showing people how to do this.
yeah.
And I'm like, wow, like it was so these little playful things. And really the whole thing about the book is to teach people how to track their meaningful coincidences after they put something out there.
Mm,
I'm like,
mm.
whoa, that's cool. Like that was like 2 hours later. And we're like, are you kidding me?
I was about to say, it sounds like you're very efficient at this.
I am efficient.
Yeah, so that kind of almost takes on this idea that to manifest something awesome, it has to take a lot of time.
No, 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 no. But to manifest something big, like for example, like a big success in your career, that if you're not ready for that, it takes a bit of time because you have to become that person and you have to do the work, right?
Mm,
But I don't know. Like listen, I know what I know. I know that what the science says. I know what the drawings do. I know the possibilities. I always ask too for take it away from me if it's not for me. I want to be so crystal clear that this is not for me. I
mhm,
did a drawing. We were looking for an office in Toronto because we're pretty isolated out in our farm. And I said, I really need to get back into the city. So I was convinced it was in this one area of the city. And
mhm,
we kept looking at all these gorgeous places, and then we got turned down by all of them. And I was like, what the hell is going on?
mhm,
And so my realtor was like, I don't get this. You have all the right criteria. And I went, I don't understand either. So I did a drawing, but with part of the drawing was like, take it away. If this is not for us, like you need to show me 1,000% that it's not. And if there is a place, make it really easy now because I'm tired. So
mm,
I asked for that, but I drew something and I was perfectly happy for it to go away. Like I was like, maybe this was a bad idea. Maybe we're not meant to have a place in the
mhm.
city. I was really at a place like surrender. So what happened was I found the perfect place in the area I thought I wanted, right? And
Mhm.
on the way there, they canceled. They canceled. So
Wow.
I'm wow. So there were two places to see in a building I didn't want to go to because it was
Mhm,
under construction. I'm like, I don't want to go there. And she said, no, it's in a different part of the city and it's still on the water because you saw water.
mhm,
But and I went, why would I go there? I don't want to go there. But then it was a nice day. And we're like, okay, fine.
mhm.
We're gonna go there. So we go into the one and isn't like we have a very long address. And the code to get into the unit was the same number as my address, the same 6 numbers. Okay.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. And we
Yeah.
walk in and it's the most perfect place. I'm like,
Huh.
oh my God, this place, and it's soundproof. We don't hear any construction. So
Mm.
I'm like, this is it. This is it. And my husband goes, I think we should still look at the other one. I'm going, why? It was like, look, did you see that? So we go to the other one, much smaller, more affordable. And but every window looked directly at the water. And I just was like, oh my God, this is it. Now it was too small to live in, but perfect for what we wanted. And they accepted us on the spot. They were like, yes, please. Yeah, we'd love to have you. You can bring both your dogs. It was like, you know, and
Wow.
it was like, holy moly, I would never have done that. But I just trusted spirit. And I was also prepared to walk away.
Yeah. That's a great story. Well, my last question for you is, who are you becoming now?
I am becoming a person that is liberated from my old ideas.
Hmm. Liberated from your old ideas.
Yes.
So you're moving into a place, you're becoming someone who's
I'm
moving into
becoming
your.
someone different. I am
Mm.
becoming someone more adventurous, somebody who cares less about what people think of me.
Mm.
I'm a little more fearless and liberated. That's how I feel.
I
I'm
love
becoming
that. Where can people learn more about you or get your book?
perfect. So they can go to colettebaronreid.com/book. And you can, there's all kinds of free downloads, a whole class that you can take for free, etc. And you can try my Oracle cards for free just at colettebaronreid.com. Sorry if my dog is, if I don't know if you kept hearing her barking in the background the whole time, but she's actually in a whole 2 rooms over and she's yelling her head off.
That's all right. She was welcome to join the interview, and so
Yeah,
everyone's
well,
represented.
everybody's represented, exactly, including my needy little dog.
Oh, well, thank you so much. This has been such a great conversation, and I think very inspiring just for people to know that maybe this doesn't have to be so hard. Maybe having the life that you want doesn't have to be so unattainable.
No, maybe it's just about doodling,
Yeah.
doodling a bit to, engage yourself in this incredible, very, very ancient way of communicating, which
Mm,
is circles and wavy lines while
yeah.
you talk to the universe. And it really works.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.